Well, I hope to God that eventually we find out that maybe Caitlin Clark was asked to do this and maybe she said no. Because if that's not the case, then the WNBA and the Players Association, the WNBPA, and the league, to be honest, continue to disrespect the far and away biggest draw that this women's hoops league's got that they've ever seen.
Imagine being the star of the league, breaking records and selling out arenas, only to get treated like an intern during a merch launch. That's what just happened to Caitlin Clark. The WNBA Players Union chose Aya Wilson and Angel Reese instead of her, and now the internet is blowing up. Was it a power move? A petty choice? Or just really bad PR in disguise? Either way, things are heating up fast, hotter than a courtside seat at a Liberty game.
Jealousy and sheer incompetence are going to be the three main reasons why the WNBA never reaches the popularity, never reaches the shine that they think they deserve. Stubbornness, incompetence, and jealousy are going to be the reasons why Caitlin Clark remains at the mountaintop and nobody else ends up even being close to joining her up there. And it's all the WNBA, the players, the executives, Kathy Engelbert. It is all their fault. They're far too jealous. They're far too stubborn. And from a business sense, they are all far too incompetent. What am I talking about?
They could have just given Caitlin Clark the crown, a throne, and a whole warehouse of sold-out merch. But nope, they chose drama instead. The WNBA Players Union launched a flashy new merch campaign and somehow left out the biggest star the league has ever seen. It wasn't just a mistake, it felt like a message. We'd rather go down than let her lead. This wasn't about teamwork or fairness. It was petty, plain and simple, wrapped in fake unity.
Their biggest draw, their biggest revenue churner, the biggest ratings, viewership draw, attendance draw, the whole, if it's a draw, Caitlin Clark's bringing them in droves and lined up to come in the door. I'm awaiting a record, some kind of a record rating for her return the other day against the Liberty. I'm awaiting for that viewership rating to come in for television. I got a question. If you were going to market a product and the WNBA was going to be officially involved in it, would Caitlin Clark not be the number one overall draft pick that you would have? Well, to the Players Association and the people involved with it, I guess not. And this is baffling to me. It's terrible business. It is failed business.
Let's get one thing straight. Caitlin Clark didn't turn this down. She didn't ignore them. And she wasn't too busy hitting logo threes or signing baby onesies. She was never even invited. And let's be real, if she had been, her merch would have sold out before most people had breakfast. The others probably would have sat in the store like that one flavor of gum nobody likes. The WNBA Players Union chose Angel Reese over Caitlin Clark in their social media promo. And to be fair to Angel,
WNBA Players Union chooses Angel Reese over Caitlin Clark in social media posts. Now, to be fair to Angel Reese, it wasn't just Angel Reese. It was everybody not named Caitlin Clark. It was everybody the old guard thinks is a star, not named Caitlin Clark. This is absolutely pathetic, absolutely embarrassing, and we are going to show you why momentarily. WNBA's Players Union chooses Angel Reese over Caitlin Clark in social media post originally appeared on Athlon Sports. Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark and Chicago Sky forward Angel Reese have not exactly had fortunate starts to the 2025 WNBA season.
And there's the real problem. It's not that Caitlin Clark is too controversial or too new. It's that she's too successful. Her jersey sells like it's Beyoncé merch. She's packing arenas and boosting TV ratings. From the outside, everything looks great, good image, even better business. But the feelings behind the scenes? That's where things get messy. Because if Caitlin's merch sells out instantly while others barely move, it's no longer about unity, it's about reality. And that's the part they don't want to face.
I'm just in shock. I'm in shock. So you've got a lot of the biggest names in the entire WNBA here. You've got Aja, you've got Kelsey Plum, you've got Paige Beckers, you've got Angel Reese, you've got Fee, you've got Cameron Brink, you've got Sabrina. So you've got a lot of the bigger names, if not the biggest names. The biggest names in the entire WNBA right here. And who's not there? It's Caitlin Clark. And if you guys have not seen this right here, FM cases and the WNBPA. The WNBPA. So this is 3 days old. I got sent this email today. I actually, in fairness, I did see a tweet, not including the most popular player. This is how much they hate Caitlin.
Instead of riding the wave that could lift the entire league, they acted like it didn't exist. Genius. It's like throwing a pizza party and leaving out the cheese so you don't offend the crust. But newsflash, the crust isn't what brings the flavor, Caitlin is. And now the league's pretending flavor doesn't matter if it's not politically convenient. This isn't about race or who can dunk in warm-ups. It's about what happens when real greatness doesn't fit the script. Caitlin Clark didn't wait for permission. She showed up with talent, work ethic, and logo-range threes, and the gatekeepers froze. Not because they didn't see her coming, but because they didn't want her to arrive. Now that she's here, they're stumbling, trying to benefit without admitting she changed the game. Their strategy? Quiet exclusion dressed up in PR talk. Aya Wilson and Angel Reese were chosen, and yes, they're great players with real fan bases. But let's not pretend this was just about talent. It was a message. And everyone heard it loud and
The exact abuse that they're giving Caitlin Clark right now to Sabrina Ionescu. Like, let's be real, you can look. You read what some of these things have said about Sabrina Ionescu before Caitlin Clark walked in the league, but now they have the new bully victim. And it's so funny looking at it where you're like, all these, it's so clear that these people, it's just an anti-Caitlin people, because it's like an enemy of my enemy is my friend, where it's like, they are these individual pages where you look at the players they hype up, and Paige Beckers, and by the way, by all accounts, Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark are friends. They'll have their profile's Angel Reese, and the players are going to hype up as Paige Beckers because she is a rival to Caitlin Clark. And let's be real, that's an actual rivalry. Paige Beckers is really damn good.
instead of riding the wave that could lift the entire league, they acted like it didn't exist. Genius. It's like throwing a pizza party and leaving out the cheese so you don't offend the crust. But newsflash, the crust isn't what brings the flavor, Caitlin is. And now the league's pretending flavor doesn't matter if it's not politically convenient. This isn't about race or who can dunk in warm-ups. It's about what happens when real greatness doesn't fit the script. Caitlin Clark didn't wait for permission. She showed up with talent, work ethic, and logo-range threes, and the gatekeepers froze. Not because they didn't see her coming, but because they didn't want her to arrive. Now that she's here, they're stumbling, trying to benefit without admitting she changed the game. Their strategy? Quiet exclusion dressed up in PR talk. Aya Wilson and Angel Reese were chosen, and yes, they're great players with real fan bases. But let's not pretend this was just about talent. It was a message. And everyone heard it loud and clear.
Had another, whatever you want to call it, confrontation in a WNBA game. Like, why is this happening? The Caitlin Clark phenomenon is one that I got wrong. I never really thought that Caitlin Clark would make the difference that she has in college basketball or in the WNBA. What other sports analogies are out there that are in any way similar to the impact that one individual has had on a larger sporting universe? Tiger was...
Be great, but don't outshine the vets. Break records, but do it quietly. Sell tickets, but don't make anyone else look bad. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark just keeps showing up, smiling, and hitting threes from the parking lot. She's the storm they can't outrun, and instead of embracing it, the league is trying to cover it up with weak PR. It's honestly laughable, like watching someone deny there's a fire while standing in front of a burning scoreboard. Every time Caitlin performs, the silence from some people gets louder. Not because she's wrong, but because she's undeniable. And here's the twist. This snub didn't hurt her, it made her bigger. The merch rollout that left her out? It backfired. It became a perfect example of what not to do when you have a star who's driving the league forward. Fans noticed. Sponsors noticed. The media noticed. The only ones pretending not to. The same people who thought leaving her out would go unnoticed. Spoiler alert, it didn't. It dumped on them. Hard. But the WNBA seems more focused on playing identity politics than making smart business moves. Instead of riding the momentum Caitlin created, they're ignoring it. Like fans can't see what's really going on. Like we can't Google who's selling jerseys, who's selling tickets, or who's bringing in viewers. Let's be real, this wasn't a mistake. It wasn't bad timing. It wasn't a glitch. It was intentional. And the message was loud. You can break records, but you can't break it unless you play by our rules.
I don't know what exact... So one play what people in the seats you don't include. It genuinely seems like everybody going mad about this. So this only started happening around the last day. But at the end of the day, look, the WNBPA can do whatever they want, I guess. And if this case is with the WNBPA, as far as I'm aware, players' rights are not done separately. I think the WNBPA come to an agreement, can come to like mass agreements like what they did with NBA 2K. With this saying it was an agreement with the WNBPA, knowing how the negotiations work with NBA 2K, with the players' associations and stuff, and again, I could be very wrong with this, but I don't think this is something that'll be on an individual by individual basis. I hope I'm...
Caitlin Clark didn't follow the old playbook. She tore it up and wrote her own. And that's exactly why she's being pushed out of a campaign she should have been leading. If they had included her, the sales would have exposed the truth, and that truth would have bruised a few egos. So instead, they acted like her success was a fluke, like she just stumbled into the WNBA and somehow gained millions of fans overnight. But the only thing Caitlin Clark tripped over was a system too fragile to handle her rise. And the wild part? The fans aren't fooled. They see the stats. They see the impact. They know who's got the fire, the skill, the star power. No carefully planned rollout or fake narrative can erase the fact that Caitlin Clark is the moment. The league has two choices: embrace it or keep fumbling the bag. At this rate, Caitlin might as well call a EuroLeague team, because the WNBA keeps making one thing clear: they don't want her shining anywhere near their spotlight. The best-selling, record-breaking, arena-filling, ratings-dominating phenom is being treated like a backup, while two of the most divisive players in the league get pushed as its future.
Her first game back against the Liberty, where she scored 25 points in the first half, had LeBron James tweeting about her, and also sending her direct messages, apparently. They beat the Liberty, who was previously undefeated, 9-0. The game Saturday afternoon on ABC, and 21 million people watched the game. Now, according to Nielsen, that is the most watched WNBA game. Now, this all comes on the heels of ratings being down, viewership being down 55%. I want to get this exactly right. I have this all written down here. Lucky for you guys. So this story broke last week, but I want to weave it all in as we talk about this topic. Nationally televised WNBA viewership is down 55% since Caitlin Clark's in.
We're talking about Aya Wilson and Angel Reese, the WNBA's idea of charisma, even if it feels forced. Two players who've gotten more screen time for drama and sound bites than for game-changing performances. And yet, when it was time to launch a merch campaign that could have broken sales records, who did the WNBA Players Union choose? The two whose jerseys barely move, even in their own states. It's honestly impressive how hard they're working to ignore the obvious. Caitlin Clark is the most popular athlete in America. Yes, more than the guys dunking in the NBA, tossing touchdowns on Sundays, or doing fake humble interviews for GQ. Caitlin is the moment. She's the culture. She's the algorithm. She's the name your grandma knows even if she can't quite say it right.